A very good morning to all of you. I am Priyanka Shinde, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Balwan College, Vita. I am Komal Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Balwan College, Vita. We heartily welcome you all for 3rd International Multidisciplinary Conference on Emerging Trends in Humanities, Commerce, Management, Science and Technology 2021 on behalf of Balwan College, Vita. For this inauguration function, we have very eminent personality, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke Sir, Shivaji University Kolhapur as a chief guest. I welcome you, sir. For this inauguration function, we have very eminent personality, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. P.S. Patil Sir, Shivaji University Kolhapur as a keynote address speaker. I welcome you, sir. I feel great privilege to welcome Honorable Principal of our college and President of this international conference, Dr. R.S. Morrison. For this function, we have a galaxy of intellectuals, of resource persons, chairpersons, and I welcome all dignitaries and delegates of various colleges, respected teachers, research scholars, students, and my dear colleagues. Let us begin inauguration function of this international conference by tribute to Honorable Founder of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, Dr. Karmavir Bhaurao Patil. Now, I would like to request Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. Morrison and all the dignitaries to homage Dr. Karmavir Bhaurao Patil and Balwantrao Chauhan by offering flower.
वटवृक्षाच्या विशालतेचा मोहन भाला पडतो आहे रयते मधुनी नव्या युगाचा माणूस आता घडतो आहे वटवृक्षाच्या विशालतेचा मोहन भाला पडतो आहे रयते मधुनी नव्या युगाचा ज्ञानपीठ हे शक्तिपीठ ही ठरते आहे शाहू फुल्यांचे समानतेचे तत्व मानसी मूर्ते आहे धर्म जातीच्या पादगांधींचे मूल्य मानवी जपतो आहे रयते मधुनी नव्या युगाचा माणूस आता घडतो आहे वटवृक्षाच्या विशालतेचा मोहन भाला पडतो आहे रयते मधुनी नव्या युगाचा लक्ष्मी वहिनी झाली आई कमवा आणि शिका मंत्र हा तरुणाईला प्रेरक होई स्वावलंबी वृत्ती ठेवून ज्ञान साधना करतो आहे रयते मधून नव्या युगाचा माणूस आता घडतो आहे वटवृक्षाच्या विशालतेचा मोहन भाला पडतो आहे रयते मधून नव्या युगाचा दलितांसाठी अण्णा तुमची झिजली चंदन काया अनाथ जीवा सदा लाभली मातृदयी तुमची माया शून्यामधल्या नवसृष्टीचा निर्मित तोही ठरतो आहे रयते मधून नव्या युगाचा माणूस आता घडतो आहे वटवृक्षाच्या विशालतेचा मोहन भाला पडतो आहे रयते मधून नव्या युगाचा जीवनातला तिमिर जावा प्रबोधनाची पहाट व्हावी इथे लाभले पंखले उनी उंच भरारी नभात घ्यावी प्रतिभाशाली बहुजनांचा वेगू गगनी चढतो आहे रयते मधून नव्या युगाचा माणूस आता घडतो आहे वटवृक्षाच्या विशालतेचा मोहन भाला पडतो आहे रयते मधून नव्या युगाचा
Thank you all of you. Now I would like to request Professor Dr. V.B. Patil sir, convener of this conference, to please convey introductory speech.
Good morning to all. Honorable Chief Guest of today's online Third International Multidisciplinary Conference on Emerging Trends in Humanities, Commerce, Management, Science and Technology 2021. Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke, Honorable Vice Chancellor Shivaji University Kolhapur, Honorable Keynote Speaker Dr. P.S. Patil, Pro Vice Chancellor Shivaji University Kolhapur, President of today's function, Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. More Sahib, distinguished delegates, MSc students and organizing committee members. Due to COVID-19 pandemic situation, we are organizing the 2 days online international conference from 23rd December 2021 to 24th December 2021. On this occasion, I am Dr. V.B. Patil, Department of Chemistry. As a convener, it's my duty to introduce about my college. Late Padma Bhushan Dr. Karmayur Bhaurao Patil founded Rayat Shikshan Sanstha with a clear vision of providing education to masses in 1919. Here he learned from and followed the teaching of great personalities like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Rajeshri Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar and other like-minded ones. With such a clarity in mind, this unit of Balwan College was established in Vita in 1963, and the entire standing of the college is before us. Let us making progress day by day. The A grade with CGPA 3.11 by NAC is its proof. We all feel proud to be a part of this college. College has also ISO 19001-2015 certification. In the year 2017, we received funds from DSTFIST worth ₹1 crore. In the year 2019, the college became RUSA beneficiary with funds of ₹2 crore sanctioned by RUSA. Ours is the only college in Sangli district which received funds from RUSA. In addition to boys NCC unit, we also have girls NCC unit, and this is also creditable to us. The college has well-equipped sports facility having 800-meter running track and also indoor and outdoor stadium. We have the tradition of maintaining good results in UG and PG examination conducted by Shivaji University Kolhapur. Our results are higher than university results. In this academic year, we have started PG course MSc in Physics, Statistics, Microbiology, Zoology, and BSc 3rd Electronics. Some of the science departments and NSS units of our college organize blood donation camps, health checkup camps, workshops on energy conservation, COVID awareness program, etc., which are the activities of social importance and are beneficial to the people of Vita city and nearby villages. We also support, motivate to the researchers, teachers and students for research area. There are various activities to promote the research among them. Our college also provides minor research project to faculty up to 2 lakhs under the brief research scheme for encouragement in the research. So we organize 3rd International Conference to promote young researchers and faculty members. This conference is an attempt to provide a platform to those researchers to present their original research work and to motivate them in the field of research. We also aim at providing valuable inputs and increase the knowledge in relevant streams through invited talks by renowned personalities in the field of research. In this conference, Honorable Vice Chancellor D.T. Shirke, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. P.S. Patil, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Dr. Deepak Dubal from Australia, Dr. Robert Shesh Kabira from East Africa, Dr. B.S. Navi from Belgavi, Dr. B. Mariappa from Bangalore, Dr. M.S. Deshmukh, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Dr. Bhavani Sia from Simla will enlighten the participants and delegates. With this brief introduction of my college, I would like to welcome all you for this third international conference. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all. Jai Hind, Jai Karmagin.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Dr. A. Sartape, sir, coordinator of this conference, to please give information about the conference.
Very good morning to one and all. Balwan College Vita organized third international multidisciplinary conference on emerging trends in humanities, commerce, management, science and technology 2021. IMCET 2021. On this auspicious movement, I welcome to one and all. Very firstly, we attribute to founder of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Karnal Bhaurao Patil and Rayat Mauli, Sau Lakshmibai Patil. I welcome to today's chief guest of the inaugural function, Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I also welcome today's keynote speaker, Professor Dr. P.S. Patil, sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, in this international conference. Today, we have Honorable Madhavram Moite Dada, Chairman, Southern Region, Rayat Shikshan Sanstha. I welcome him on this special day. I would like to take opportunity to welcome President of the inaugural function, Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. More, sir. He is the captain of our ship. Under his able leadership, we are moving ahead. His constant support and encouragement gives us potential to compete all the challenges. It's my duty to welcome convener of this conference, Dr. V.B. Patil, sir, co-convener, Mr. Devkate, sir, organizing secretary, Professor Dr. C.R. Bobde, sir, co-coordinators, Dr. Sau S.V. Patil, madam, Mr. K.B. Mane, sir, and Mr. R.J. Patil, sir, treasurer, Dr. D.P. Wagumbare, sir, and Srimati R.A. Chavan, madam, in this inaugural function of the international conference. I'm pleased to welcome authority of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, honorable members of International Advisory Committee, College Development Committee, Conference Organizing Committee, reviewers of the research paper, my colleagues, and last but not the least, dear all participant friends. Balwan College Vita is accredited A grade by NAC Bangalore. They were appreciated to us for the research contribution by the college. Then we prepared prospective plan to achieve the excellence in the research. College has supported by DST Feast and ARUSA. We begin the tradition to organize at least one international conference every year. This was started in the year 2019, and this is our third international conference. This conference covers broad areas in the humanities, arts, languages, computer science, commerce, management, science and technology. In this conference, we have connected with 245 participants from various regions from the India and abroad. We have outcome of this conference in the form of publication of research articles in the UGC Care Listed and Web of Science Index journals. We received 144 research papers to be published within a couple of months. In this 2 days conference, we have this inauguration function followed by keynote address and plenary sessions by eminent researchers from India and outside of the India. Second day begin with plenary lectures followed by presentation of participants. Oral presentation will be conducted by individual department as a session of the conference, and then will be concluding session after the presentation. Once again, I welcome to all the dignitaries and delegates in this gathering researchers. Kindly enjoy these 2 days. This is the platform to share your views, research, motivate by achievers, communicate and listen to the great scientists. I hope this will be great experience to all of us. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Thank you, sir. Now we are moving towards the felicitation of chief guest by Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. More, sir. Principal Dr. R.S. More, sir, is felicitating Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and here Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. More, sir, and all the dignitaries are felicitating Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Now we are moving toward the felicitation of keynote address speaker. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Sir S.C. Patil ma'am, co-coordinator of this conference, to introduce Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir.
Morning, one and all. It is indeed my honor to introduce the Vice Chancellor of Shivaji University, Honorable Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir. Honorable Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir, is an eminent scholar and academician in statistics. Sir has completed his graduation from Vivekananda College, Kolhapur, and post-graduation from Department of Statistics, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Sir has joined the Department of Statistics as a CSIR Research Fellow in 1987, where subsequently he joined Department of Statistics and headed from 2005 to 2015. Sir has extensive experience of 33 years in progressive academic leadership and rich administrative experience. Sir has published almost 80 plus national and international research publications with 600 plus citations to his credit. Sir has completed 9 research projects funded by various national funding agencies with total inlay of approximately rupees 100 lakhs. 15 students have successfully completed their PhD under his able guidance. An outstanding researcher, Sir has delivered invited talks and speeches in many conferences, workshops, refresher and orientation courses, both within and outside India. Sir has traveled in India as well as visited USA, Switzerland, Portugal, Germany, Thailand, Singapore, and so on. As a researcher of international repute, Sir has varied research collaboration both within and outside country. Like the academic concern, Sir has diverse administrative experience, which includes position as the officiating registrar of Shivaji University for the period of 2 years, as the institutional coordinator of RUSA, coordinator of university, interaction cell, coordinator of UGC staff, and so on. Sir has worked on various bodies of university, including Senate, Management Council, Academic Council, Finance and Accounts Committee, Budget Committee, etc. Recently, he worked as a Pro-Vice Chancellor of Shivaji University for 3 years. Considering the substantial academic and administrative contribution, Sir was awarded as Best Teacher Award by Shivaji University, Kolhapur in 2011. Sir has consistently shown his talent for fetching various awards and fellowships. As a student, Sir was recipient of State Government Scholarship, National Merit Scholarship, and University Ranker for both UG and PG classes. In recognition of academic excellence, Sir was awarded Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund Award twice and Summer Research Fellow Award of Academy of Indian Sciences. Sir is an elected member of International Statistics Institute, Netherlands, and also the member of many professional organizations in statistics. Sir has also worked on various bodies of committees of Solapur University, Goa University, Karnataka University, Bangalore University, Central University of Rajasthan, Cali University, etc. Sir has worked as a chairman, NAC peer team for accreditation and assessment. Sir has contributed significantly in the development of Shivaji University while working on various statutory bodies of the university, which includes a 5 years perspective plan of Shivaji University, institutional development plan under RUSA, a new welfare scheme for students, parents, teachers, and administrative staff, choice-based credit system for UG and PG courses, developmental activities through RUSA support, preparation and presentation of annual budget of university before the Senate, introduced more than 30 value-added courses, starting a new PG program, MSc, under UGC Innovative Program Scheme, promoting placement of students in central, state, government, multinational companies, and many more things. So we have a great academician, administrative leader, and personality with us today. We have very fortunate to have Honorable Vice Chancellor for his gracious presence for inaugural function of international conference. Once again, I welcome Honorable Dr. D.T. Shirke, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to request chief guest of this conference, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, for inaugural speech.
Good morning to one and all. On the occasion of third international multidisciplinary online conference on the theme of emerging trends in humanities, commerce, management, science and technology, organized by Balwant College, Vita. On this occasion of inaugural ceremony, we have Principal R.S. More, Principal of Balwant College, Vita, convener of this international conference, Dr. V.B. Patil, officials from Rayat Shikshan Samstha, the faculty members and all the committee members of this particular conference, invited resource persons and their friends. Indeed, I am very happy to be part of this inaugural ceremony of international conference, which is primarily focused on all disciplines, I would say. You have humanities, you have science and technology, you have commerce and management as well. I appreciate the management and principal and his team for organizing this particular multidisciplinary conference through online mode for a number of reasons. The first and foremost is that in national education policy, multidisciplinary approach is advocated, and it is high time to spread this message to all the stakeholders. We should not work in isolation. It could be a student or a teacher or management or a researcher. Always we will have to see that we should have a multidisciplinary approach. Now, how to appreciate this particular approach further? Before I start, let me take an opportunity of this particular conference to pay my tribute to Padma Bhushan Dr. Karmavir Bhaurao Patil, who laid down the foundation of Rayat Shikshan Samstha for catering the needs of all the stakeholders in society. When we talk about multidisciplinary, most of the times we are reluctant to leave the boundaries of our own domain. Now, let me start with a very simple statement. If we are healthy, we can perform well. This is a very simple statement. Now, Healthy, and the second one is performance. When you talk about healthy, what do you mean by being healthy? You should be healthy in your, of course, with your mind and with your body. When it comes to mind, definitely you have several dimensions, and when you talk about body, you also have several dimensions. When mind means study of mind is usually done in the humanities, and study of body is done in the medical science. But you know, these are not the only two disciplines in our life. So when you really want to perform very well, you must be healthy, and then you are cautious about your health. When you are cautious about health, you put some exercise. And when you put some exercise, you should have at least bare minimum knowledge about physical education. So physical education is a branch of interdisciplinary study, which also has the same importance. Sometimes you may have to take advice of medical professionals, doctors, and in that case, all the remaining branches you have to touch upon. For example, it could be pharmacy, if you have to go for a tablet. It could be a chemistry, by using the knowledge of chemistry, invention and development of tablet is done. You should have a knowledge about microbiology, bit knowledge about. I'm not saying that you should have a deeper knowledge, but they are all connected. Microbiology, then biochemistry, zoology, and of course botany and whatnot. So within science discipline also, these are interconnected, and when you come out of that, there are many more such things. But if you want to keep yourself in a healthy and happy mood, sometimes you want to listen something, and if you want to listen something, then naturally you would like to listen a song, and then a literature comes into picture. So if you really perform well, you get a good rewards, and when you have a good rewards, you would like to invest them. You have to manage your business, and then commerce and management comes into picture. So you name the discipline, you are connected with that particular discipline, and therefore organizing such multidisciplinary conferences, I think they bring people from different disciplines on a common platform, and we should cultivate habit of listening thoughts from other disciplines as well. I think we lack in that particular area. And unless otherwise we do, I think the horizontal growth, academic growth is not possible. So multidisciplinary conference is one of the innovative idea, and nowadays it is getting importance day by day. We should come together, listen what others are talking. We should also know about what are the developments in the other areas, and we should try to address the development and issues in our own domain also. So with this particular objective, this conference is being organized. I am sure all the participants will definitely get benefited with this particular conference, and not only just listening, but some new ideas will come up. When you talk about your discipline and when you listen to some other discipline, you get certain ideas, and then a collaborative work may start. Collaborative projects may come up. Handshaking between institutions may start, may get initiated. And I'm expecting what could be the outcome of such conferences apart from only meeting together, listening together. A long-term collaboration, if they are coming up through such deliberations, I think that is the most expected outcome from such a conferences. I wish that these conferences should lead to joint work, collaborative research work, and knowing the applications of each of the discipline to each and everyone. With these words, I think I know you are very eager to listen to my with this, I wish conference will be a grand success. All the participants will get benefited out of this particular conference. International conference, which is organized online, has been inaugurated and is open now. My best wishes to you all, the college and the entire team. Thank you so much. Have a great time.
Thank you very much, sir, for such auspicious speech. Now, we are moving toward the felicitation of keynote speaker by Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. Morris. Here, Honorable Principal Dr. Morris and all the dignitaries are felicitating Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. P.S. Patil sir. Dr. P.S. Patil sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. C.R. Bobde, sir, Organizing Secretary of this conference, to introduce Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Professor P.S. Patil, sir.
Good morning to one and all. I once again welcome you all to the third International Multidisciplinary Conference on Emerging Trends in Humanities, Commerce, Management, Science and Technology, organized by Red Shikshan Sanstha, Balwan College, Vitta. Respected Chief Guest, Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke, Honorable Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Today's keynote speaker and one of the topmost scientists of the world, Professor Dr. P.S. Patil sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Chairman of the conference, Dr. R.S. Morris sir, Honorable Principal, Balwan College, Vitta. Convener, Dr. V.B. Patil sir, Coordinator, Dr. Sartape sir, organizing committee members, research scholars, delegates, student friends, and dignitaries. I feel myself to be privileged to get an opportunity to introduce Professor P.S. Patil, sir, world's renowned scientist and one of the top 10 knowledge producers in India, as a keynote speaker of this conference. Though sir has a huge biodata, I would like to mention in brief strengths. As I mentioned, he is one of the top 10 knowledge producers in India and ranked in the world's top 2% scientists by Stanford University, USA in 2020. Sir has won Outstanding Research Faculty Award by Careers 360 ranking in India. Sir has worked in various capacities as a coordinator, Department of Energy Technology, Director, School of Nanoscience and Technology, Head Department of Physics, Director IQAC Cells of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. To his credit, he has produced 45 PhD students and 6 MPhil students so far, and 6 PhD students are working under his able guidance. Sir has published over 440 research papers in international and national journals of repute and over 550 abstracts in international and national conferences. Total citations for his papers is 20,770 with H index of 76 and I-10 index of 474. He has written 4 books, 6 book chapters, 1 Korean and 3 Indian patents, and submitted 1 patent. Total views by Mendele for his research is more than 5 lakh. To his credit, he has awards, which I would like to mention in brief. He is a recipient of prestigious German Academic Exchange Service Fellowship Award 1996-98 at Han Meitner Institute, Germany. He is 2-time recipient of Brain Pool Fellowship Award, South Korea, in the year 2005 and 6 and 2012 and 13. He's Fellow of Institute of Physics, London, UK. Fellow of Maharashtra Academy of Sciences, 2013. Life member of the National Academy of Sciences, India. Has a quarterly Franklin membership. Sir has worked as Dean Faculty of Science and Technology, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and Chairman, Board of Studies in Physics, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has worked as BOS member of other universities such as Sanjay Godath University, Savitribai Phule Pune University, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. His research won the Best Microscopy Image Award in the world in 2010 in Nano Today, an Elsevier publisher of Impact Factor 17.68. Also, he has bagged Best Cover Image Award in Materials Today Journal of Impact Factor 21.79. He is the life member of several bodies in India and abroad. He has played an important role as a coordinator of Shivaji University, Kolhapur, in establishing MOU with University of Ontario, Canada, and National Dongfa University, Taiwan. He participated in Indo-Japanese projects and Indo-Egypt projects in the year 2013 and 18 respectively. Sir has visited so far United States of America, Germany, France, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. He is referee for many international journals, including Journal of American Chemical Society. His research areas have secured high ranking as per Scopus in world and India. such as electrochromism, 8th rank in the world and first in India for 2000 to 2020. For gas sensors, third in India 2015 to 2020. In solar cells, third rank in India 2010 to 2020. Sir is working as editor of some international journals such as Material Science, Applied Surface Science of Elsevier Publications, and review editor of Frontiers in Material Science. He is international research project reviewer of PASI Foundation, Israel government. He is project evaluator of National Council of Science and Technology, Mexico government, Mexico. International project reviewer, Cairo University, Egypt. Sir is visiting professor at Chonnam National University, Gwangju, South Korea. His individual projects worth rupees 4.75 crore, and also he has received funds for Center of Nanofabrics from RUSA worth rupees 1.2 crore and DBT Builder funding worth rupees 5 crore. He has been instrumental in common funding worth rupees 7.3 crore. Besides this, Sir is giving ample time to teach physics to his students. He has won the Best Teacher Award in the year 2014 of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. One of his PhD students received Best PhD Thesis Award in the world in the year 2014. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Professor P.S. Patil to this session once again, and I request him to share his expertise in the field of research in which will be highly beneficial to young researchers. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving such introduction of very eminent personality, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. P.S. Patil, sir, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I would like to request keynote speaker of this conference, Honorable Dr. P.S. Patil, sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, for keynote address.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Please mute everybody's mic so that there will not be any disturbance. Please make sure that you have muted everybody's mic. That there still there is some disturbance. Okay, so let me start. Chief guest of today's inaugural function, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor D.T. Shirkesar, Principal of this college, Dr. Rajendra More, sir, Professor Bobde from Department of Physics, Dr. V.B. Patil, convener of the conference, all the teachers who are attending this conference, and my dear participant friends. I'm indeed very happy to be here on the occasion of inaugural function of third international multidisciplinary online conference on the theme of emerging trends in humanities, commerce, management, science and technology 2021, organized by Balwant College Vita. I am indeed very happy that this college has chosen this very interesting topic for the participants, in which I guess the participants from all the disciplines like science and technology, commerce and management, and humanities would be attending this conference. So I should not talk anything about hardcore science or engineering. I will take a very light subject which will be beneficial to all of us and which is important to all of us. So accordingly, I have selected a topic for this conference, that is a climate change. Have you understood this? Climate change is the topic which is a very, very hot topic, which is an important topic, and which is very important because human being, all of us are going to affect by these climatic changes. So I would like to tell you what is climate, what is the climatic changes, and what are the implications if we do not take proper steps and proper precautions, what will happen, what disastrous things can happen in the world. And therefore, I have selected this topic so that it will be beneficial for all the students, all the faculty members from humanities, commerce and management, and science and technology, because everybody has to play some key role in this climate change. This is not a simple topic. This is not a narrow topic, but it is a very, very large topic of very high magnitude. And therefore, everybody on this particular earth has to think on the climate change and what can be done in order to avoid the problems in the future. And that's why I have selected this climate change topic for all the participants today. Since it is a multidisciplinary topic, everybody from commerce and management person has something to do with the climatic change. Humanities person will also have something to play an important role in the climate change. Science and technology people will also have some role in order to alleviate the problem of climate change. Am I audible? ऐकू येतंय ना सगळ्यांना?
हाँ सर येतंय.
Okay. So therefore, today I am going to talk on climate change, and I will be very, very simple. I will tell you some simple ideas and simple theme of climate change and what we can do, what is our role in climate change, that I am going to tell you. And why this climate change is so important nowadays, because you might have seen that in the district, Sangli, Kolhapur and Satara district, we have experienced a heavy floods in 2019 and 2021. And this heavy flood is because of a heavy rain. And heavy rain, as rainfall is within the very short time of the period, and therefore there is a sudden increase in the water levels in the rivers and the dams that caused a particular flooding situation in Sangli, Kolhapur and Satara district. And the flood is so severe that it has disrupted entire day-to-day life of the human being in the villages as well as in the cities. And most of the day-to-day activities have come to an halt. The colleges were closed, the universities were closed, water supply was closed, electricity was also not there. And therefore it becomes a very, very bad situation in the flood, and therefore it is very important. So this particular situation was not there only in our region, but you might have seen some clips, viral clips on the WhatsApp that you might have seen some of the rainfalls and heavy flooding situation in southern part of the India, like Kerala and Tirupati and most of the southern Maharashtra. Not only South Maharashtra and Central Maharashtra, South India and Central India, but some part of the North India has been affected severely by this rainfall and flooding situation. Not only that, this year we have also seen how the frequency of cyclones. The frequency of cyclones has been increased, and we have also experienced how cyclone can change the weather in a short period of time and very rapidly. That may affect entire life of our humanity. So flooding situation, heavy rainfall, cyclones are the indicators of weather change in India, and not only in India, this is being happen in the entire world. And why this is happening? What exactly is the reason for that? What science and technology is there? What type of nature that plays important role in this climate change? All these factors then come they become very, very important. And I think, in my opinion, we have to spread awareness of this climatic change to all the students, all the teachers, and all the stakeholders of the university and the colleges, so that they will be aware and they can make the change, and we can alleviate the problem of the climate change and subsequent problems that can occur because of the climatic changes. Okay, so let me start from the very beginning. I assume that there are some students in this particular audience, and therefore, in order to apprehend this particular climate change and what exactly is the nature that plays important role, I would like to start with some basic things that probably all of us, we know the basic things, but I would like to throw some more light on the basic things so that you can understand what is climate change. So, in fact, in the basics, it is very important for us to understand Earth's energy budget. Just like our financial budget, we have economic budget. Just like that, Earth has its own budget that is called as the Earth's energy budget. I am going to talk on this particular budget and what exactly is the energy, from where the energy is coming, and what is the role of this energy in the climatic changes. So for that, I must start with some basic thing, that is a solar system. As we know, the solar system, there is a sun, and very close to the sun are Mercury and Venus. Then comes Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. All these are the planets which revolve around the sun in a particular orbit. Earth is a particular distance of about 150 million kilometers from the sun, while Mercury and Venus, they are relatively closer to the sun, and therefore the sun radiations and the intensity of solar radiations on the Mercury and Venus is very, very high. The temperature is very high. Therefore, life on Mercury and Venus is impossible because of the temperature, very high temperature. Now, if I look at some other planets like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, their distance is very, very long as compared with the distance between Earth and Sun. And therefore, the solar radiation intensity is very less. And therefore, the temperature of these particular planets becomes very, very small, very, very low. And therefore, human beings or the life on these planets is also impossible. The only planet where the life is possible is Earth. And that's why we have taken birth on the Earth. And therefore, we are surviving here. We are surviving here because we have an exact distance from Sun to Earth, that is 150 million kilometers. Who adjusted this distance between Sun and Earth? Nobody knows. But there is some force which may call, maybe God we normally say, or some nature that has adjusted the distance between Sun and Earth exactly around 150 million kilometers. Had it been slightly longer, then there would be low temperature on the Earth, life would not be possible. Had it been somewhat shorter than the current distance, the life would not be possible because of the higher temperature. And therefore, the distance is very, very important factor as far as Sun and Earth is concerned. This distance is very important. And because of this 150 million kilometers, now we are receiving enough amount of energy from the sun. And that energy is sufficient for the human being, for the life to occur, life to happen on the earth. And therefore, there is a life on the earth only. Okay. So this is the importance of the distance between sun and earth. Now, let me tell you something about sun that we all know, but I would like to reiterate some of the important aspects of the solar sun. We know that the surface temperature of the sun is very, very high, that is around 5,500 degrees Celsius. And if you go into the interior of the sun, so that is sun, then the temperature rises and it becomes several million degrees Celsius inside the sun. But at the surface, it is 5,005 degrees Celsius. And that we know that any body which is at a higher temperature emits radiations. And therefore, sun is at a very high temperature, it emits radiations. Higher is the temperature of the body, shorter is the frequency of the radiations that it emits. That is called the black body radiation effect. And therefore, solar, that is sun, which is very hot, it is bound to emit a lot of radiations. Okay, these radiations are like showering something like water onto the planet or showering light onto the planet. So there is a large or broad range of electromagnetic spectrum that has been emitted by the sun every day, every hour. And it is necessary for us to understand what type of radiations that are being emitted by the sun. Since it is a higher temperature, it emits a lower frequency range, higher frequency range, which is called as a gamma and X-ray. Gamma rays and X-rays are high frequency radiations and they have very, very high energy. If these gamma rays and X-rays, which are emitted by the sun,
राहायला घर तर पाहिजे. काय असताना कोण देतोय पाहिजे.
Okay, it will have a very dangerous situation on the earth, and therefore we must stop radiation of gamma ray and X-ray. Then next radiation, this electromagnetic spectrum comes in the form of ultraviolet and infrared, and then microwave and radio waves. And all this entire huge broad spectrum of electromagnetic spectrum has been emitted or radiated by the sun every time. Okay, and all these radiations are falling onto the earth, but there is some advantage of the atmosphere. We know earth's atmosphere is there. The layers of atmosphere has some gases in it, and who has injected gases into the atmosphere? Nobody knows. It is naturally there. Some of the gases are there, like ozone gas is there, oxygen is there, and nitrogen is there. So these three gases are like a shield that offers a shield to the earth, because it can stop most of the energetic radiations like gamma ray and X-rays. They are high energy radiation, and these three gases are the gases which will filter out the electromagnetic radiations, and it will stop gamma ray and X-rays to reach the earth. These gamma ray and X-rays will not be able to reach to the earth only because of the presence of ozone, presence of oxygen and nitrogen in the atmosphere. So it is like we filter the tea. It is just like a filtration of the electromagnetic spectrum. These are the gases which filters very high energy radiations like gamma ray and X-ray. Therefore, we will not feel any high energy radiations on the earth. We can survive very nicely because oxygen, nitrogen and ozone are playing important role. And who have injected these gases into the atmosphere? Nobody knows. They are there actually for several thousand years. And there is some exact balance of concentration of these gases into the atmosphere. And therefore, most of the 100% of X-rays and gamma rays are absorbed by these radiations. Then the next most harmful radiations that sun is emitting is ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is also very, very bad because it is also high energy radiations, and it will also have bad effects onto the human being as well as from the life of the plants and living things. Ultraviolet is again high energy radiations, and if there is some problem into the atmosphere, just like we know, some people say that there is ozone hole. If there is a hole in the atmosphere, ozone hole, ozone is not there, then these ultraviolet radiations are not being absorbed by these gases, and they will penetrate through the atmosphere. They reaches on the surface of the earth. And sometimes when we get exposed to the ultraviolet radiations, there is a problem of, say, skin cancer, and many other problems may occur, and we will be having and we will be suffering with a lot of diseases, if ultraviolet radiations come onto the earth. Fortunately, we are very fortunate that there are some gases in the atmosphere, ozone, oxygen and nitrogen. They also absorb all the ultraviolet radiations. There is UVC, UVB and UVA radiations. All these are the ultraviolet radiations, and these gases, they stop because these gases absorb UV radiations. Now, the next electromagnetic spectrum is called as a visible spectrum. If there is some gas, and if that gas absorbs visible spectrum, there would not be life on the earth. But fortunately, there is no gas that can absorb these visible radiations that are emitted by the sun. And there is window. There is an atmospheric window. Because there is no adequate gas, there is an atmospheric window for visible radiations that are emitted by the sun, and definitely through this window we are getting all the visible radiations. If these visible radiations are blocked by the atmosphere, we will not see any sunshine on the earth, and there will not be any life on the earth. Have you understood this? So there is an exact balance that the nature has made, that the God has made, that there is a window in the atmosphere. Through this window, all the visible radiations are reaching and incident on the surface of the earth. And that's why we are alive. That's why we are very happy. Okay. So that is again a very nice adjustment in the atmosphere by itself. Nobody has worked on it. Just like we have to construct our own house, buildings, but nobody has constructed atmosphere. It is already there by nature. And the nature has made the atmosphere in such a way that there is a exact window in the visible radiations. Those solar radiations, which are emitted, visible radiations, they come directly onto the earth. That is very nice thing. Then comes IR radiations. Again, these IR radiations, they are sometimes they are absorbed by some of the gases which are there. Some of them are incident onto the surface of the earth. So some gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and ammonia, NOx, these are some of the gases which are available in the atmosphere. Who have injected these gases into the atmosphere? Nobody knows. They are already there in the atmosphere. And therefore, this CO2, carbon dioxide, methane, and NOx, that is nitrous oxide, these are the gases. Some of the clouds are there. These clouds will absorb some part of IR radiations, and some part of the IR radiations will fall and penetrate through these gases, and they reach to the earth. Now comes microwave and radio waves. They are again blocked by the atmosphere, and there is our atmosphere is opaque to microwave and radio waves to some extent. Of course, there are some windows in the microwaves that are not very useful, because microwave and radio waves are very low energy waves, and therefore they may not they are not harmful to human beings, so there is no problem. Now, what is the problematic radiations? Those are IR, then X-rays and gamma rays. They are being absorbed by the gases, and therefore only few amount of radiations are reaching onto the earth. So this particular adjustment has been done automatically by the nature for the benefit of human being, and therefore there is a life on the earth. Have you understood this? This is very important. So through this visible window and through this some IR window, some visible and IR radiations, they reach onto the earth. And if I calculate how much amount of energy that is being given by the sun to the earth, it amounts to be 1,360 watt per meter square. That much amount of maximum power that sun delivers to the earth, to the planet earth. And that much energy we are receiving every year. However, this energy is variable. And therefore, the average energy that we receive on the earth is around 340 watt per meter square. Everywhere on the planet earth, we get an average of 340 watts per meter square. So for every 1 meter square, we are getting 340 watt. And from where we are getting this particular energy? We are getting this energy from the sun on free of cost basis. We are not paying any charges to the sun, but sun is emitting that radiations, and therefore we are getting that much amount of energy free of cost available on the surface of the earth. So we must be thankful to the sun, we must be thankful to the climate and atmosphere, so that we are gaining that amount of energy. And this energy is being absorbed by the surface of the earth. Some part of that energy is being absorbed by the water, and water gets evaporated. We have got very nice cycle of weather because of this absorption of water in the sea and water. And it will also gets absorbed in the ice, glaciers, and many other parts of the earth. Now, when there is a night time, all these absorbed energy by the earth is radiated into the space during nighttime. During nighttime, we do not get solar radiations, and therefore, during nighttime, when Earth gets cool, all these radiations are emitted into the atmosphere, and most of the radiations are emitted into the atmosphere are infrared radiations. And with the balanced amount of concentration of the gases in the atmosphere, these IR radiations, they penetrate through to the space, and there should not be any trap, so that the IR radiations goes away. So IR radiations are responsible for heating, and therefore there should be a very nice gap into the atmosphere, so that IR radiations get away from Earth into the space during night time. Now, the amount of energy that is received by the Earth is around 340 watt per meter square during daytime. During night time, we should emit all this energy, 340 watt per meter square during night time. So amount of energy that we receive is equal to amount of energy that we emit. We means Earth is emitted. So if that particular magnitude is equal, then it is called as Earth is in equilibrium. Okay, so the amount of energy that we receive is amount of energy that the Earth is emitted during nighttime into the atmosphere or into the space. So if this particular equation is balanced, then Earth is in equilibrium. Fortunately, this is happening for the last 80,000 or more than that, 80,000 years. This balance is adjusted by the nature on itself up to 1965. Have you understood this? So 1965, what happened? Up to 1965 and before 1965, up to 80,000 years, there was no change in the global temperature. There was no global warming. There was no unchanged balance in the equilibrium. It was happening on its own without our notice. The Earth is adjusting entire thing, the energy that we receive and energy that is emitted by the Earth, that is occurring automatically by the nature. So that's why we are very much blessed by the nature that this is occurring automatically inside that. We need not have to develop any technology in order to balance this particular energy, but it is happening on its own. That is called as a natural forcing. So natural forcing is, that means there is no disturbance onto the Earth as far as Earth ecosystem remains stable for many years. So I told you that this particular balance was there in the world up to 1965. Now, what happened after 1965? Up to 1965, some industrial revolution started. Of course, the industrial revolution started from 1900 onwards, but it was very slow. The exponential change, the rapid change that occurred in the industrial revolution is from 1965 onwards. There was industrial revolution number 1, industrial revolution 2, 3, and now in 2020 we have industrial revolution 4.0. So all this industrial revolution, why we need industrial revolution? Because we need very luxurious lifestyle. We need 24-hour electric power supply. We need laptops. We need mobile phones everywhere. We need technology. And therefore, world is changing. Industrial revolutions are occurring. And because of this industrial revolution, lot of disturbance that take place into the atmosphere. Number one, the amount of radiations that are, amount of pollutants that are emitted by this industrial revolution has been excess. Any excess, as I told you in the beginning, that there is certain concentration of the gases in the atmosphere, and who has adjusted the concentration of gases in the atmosphere? Nature. Now, any increase or decrease in the concentration of these gases in the atmosphere will rise the temperature of the Earth, or it will fall the temperature of the Earth. And who will rise the concentration of the gas? Who will reduce the concentration of the gases? It is a man, because we are the most intelligent people onto the Earth rather than animals. We are most intelligent. So we need development, we need industrial revolution. And due to this industrial revolution, we start emitting a lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And this excess amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is the problem. The excess amount of methane that is emitted by the human being because of the human activity, that gets accumulated into the atmosphere, that is the problem. The excess amount of NOx gases that we emit from the Earth because of the human activity, that get collected into the atmosphere, that is the problem. So the problem definitely comes from the industrial revolution. Like we are using now the automobiles. Everyone has got either two-wheeler or four-wheeler. You might have seen, probably you can ask your students, have you seen burning of the coal in and around Kolhapur, Sangli and Satara? People may tell you that yes, in some industries they burn coal, okay, but they don't know how much amount of coal is being burnt at National Thermal Power Corporation stations. Several thousand tons of the coal is being burnt every day at these stations. And what is the function of these stations? They just burn coal and convert that into the electricity. Thermal energy is converted into electricity that we get. So currently, whatever the electricity that we get is mostly from the thermal power corporations, and that is because of the burning of the coal. Several tons, 1,000 tons of the coal is being burned, and therefore the amount of CO2 emission from this station is severe. Not only that, our automobiles, we have the fossil fuels like petrol and diesel. These petrol and diesel after combustion emits nitrous oxide gases, NOx we call, and some of the gases like SOx, sulfur dioxide. So NOx, SOx, these are the gases which are emitted by the automobiles. These gases are the excess amount of gases that may increase the concentration of the atmospheric gases in the atmosphere. So gas is lighter, and therefore it goes up and it gets accumulated into the atmosphere. So these gases that are excess, okay, and this excess amount of gases, what gases I told you, there are gases like which are harmful gases called as carbon dioxide, NOx, methane, and SOx. These are the gases which are emitted by the human because of the human activity, and these gases are harmful for us. And these gases are mostly responsible for the climate change. Why? I'm going to tell you why these gases are harmful and why it is responsible for the climate change. I'm going to tell you that. Suppose there is a gas like ozone, oxygen, and nitrogen. I told you that these three gases, they do not absorb IR radiations. Global warming, do you know? Climate change leads to the global warming. Warming means heating. So heating is not because of the visible radiations. Heating is because of the IR radiations. So fortunately, there is a lot of percentage of oxygen and nitrogen into the atmosphere. They will not absorb IR radiations. Okay, but the CO2, that is carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, these are the gases which absorb IR radiations. Okay, so what are IR radiations? IR radiations are responsible for the heating. How to prove that only these gases absorb IR radiations and oxygen and nitrogen do not absorb IR radiations? So I suggest you to do one experiment in your laboratory, maybe in physics or chemistry laboratory. You can do one experiment. Take some plastic bottles, fill the bottle with oxygen and nitrogen, one bottle with the oxygen, other bottle with the nitrogen, third bottle with the carbon dioxide, and fourth bottle with the nitrous oxide, NOx gases. All these gases we can get readily from the market. Fill all the gases into the water bottle, and you know the IR lamp that we use normally for massaging our body when there is a fracture or there is some pain in the muscles. So IR lamp emits a lot of temperature. IR lamp emits IR radiations that causes temperature rise. So keep this IR lamp very near to the bottle for some time, say 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Switch off the IR lamps and just feel with your hand whether the bottle gets warm or it gets cold. If it is, if the water is, if which is filled with the carbon dioxide and methane or nitrous oxide. Even though you switch off the lamp, the bottle is warm for longer period of time. What does it mean? It means that the gases inside the bottle absorb all these radiations and becomes hot. And the bottles which are filled with oxygen and nitrogen, they are cool because they do not absorb IR radiations. And this simple experiment, with the help of this simple experiment, you can demonstrate all your students that how this carbon dioxide is responsible for absorption of IR radiation that in turn increases the temperature of the bottle. Another experiment that you can do in your physics and chemistry laboratory. But if you have thermal camera, there is one thermal camera, just like in mobile, we have a camera, ordinary camera, but there is a thermal camera which catches only thermal images. Now take a glass tube, on horizontal glass tube. On one hand, you fix a thermal camera. On the other hand, you put one candle and light the candle. The image of this candle is displayed on the camera. Candle, there is a flame, and the middle portion of the flame is red. That looks red on the thermal imaging camera. Edge of the flame looks yellow. So thermal image of this candle is red and yellow on the dark blue background. Okay, this you can get if there is a air inside, there is natural air in the glass tube. Now fill this glass tube with the carbon dioxide. Suddenly, you will see that the image on the thermal camera will disappear. Why? Because there is no thermal variation that is sensed by the thermal camera. Why? Because whatever the thermal radiations that are emitted by the flame of the candle gets absorbed by the carbon dioxide. That is another indication that how this carbon dioxide or methane gases, they absorb IR radiations or the heat radiations emitted by the candle. So when you successfully demonstrate this experiment to your students, they will really understand the problem of global warming. So we are creating artificial global warming in your lab by adjusting, by organizing this particular simple experiment in the laboratory. And these experiments are very, very important. You can also demonstrate this experiment to humanities students or commerce students. They will also understand the importance of these gases, how these gases absorb IR radiations, and because of that, we feel warmth and there is a global warming. Have you understood this? So these are the experiments. Now, I was talking about 1965 onwards, there is an increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide, methane, and NOx gases. And because of that, there is a global warming. There is a change in the atmospheric temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Only 1 degree Celsius change in the global temperature has caused severe flooding, has caused severe cyclones, has caused severe changes in the weather. Now, if we do not take steps, proper steps, well in time, this temperature will rise again in a sharper mode. So rather than 1 degree Celsius, it may go up to 1.2, 1. Next coming years, we may face the challenges, we may face the problem of this global warming in a better and very greater magnitude. There may be very heavy floods, there may be very heavy cyclones, lot of frequency of the cyclones, probably earthquakes, and many other things may happen in future. There is one, what can I say? There is one very important parameter which is called as a tipping point. Tipping point is a point which is called as the threshold point, beyond which certain impact can no longer be avoided. Okay, if we reach to the tipping point, we will not be able to avoid climatic changes. It will become worse and worse. Everybody knows in this world, and because of that, a lot of people, they come together, they conducted the conferences on the global warming. A lot of people from the government sector, they come together. A lot of cooperative sectors, they come together along with the ministers and the many other corporate people. They come together and they decide the strategies. And because of these strategies, there are several strategies and the policies and the protocols that the government is imposing to us. Because unless and until government imposes some compulsions to us, we will not listen. And this is the nature everywhere in the world. And therefore, people have come together and there are several international policies in order to combat these climatic changes. Because as I told you, it is very, very severe. It will have a bad effect on the aquaculture, aqua life, that is fish and waterborne species, animals, human beings, crops, glaciers, mountains, sea, everything is going to affect. Wildlife, everything is going to affect because of this global warming. And therefore, in order to stop these climatic changes in a drastic way, there are several protocols. Many people came together, many big people, they came together and say that if we do not avoid this climate change, around 120 million people will be driven into the poverty. That is again a very, very bad situation. And therefore, we have to take several steps. There was a Montreal Protocol in 1987. The people realized this problem way back in 1987, and there is a Montreal Protocol. Then there was a Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto is a country, Kyoto is a city in the Japan. There was one conference like this, and they decided line of action for everyone in the world to follow in order to avoid the climate change. Kyoto Protocol was there in 1997. Then there was a Copenhagen Accord in 2009 in America. There was one conference and they signed the Copenhagen Accord. But in spite of these protocols and accords, the global warming is increasing. And therefore, recently there was a Paris Agreement in 2015. There was a very big conference in the UN conference in Paris. And there was there is now a document how to avoid climatic changes. And that is called as the Paris Agreement, and all the countries have signed on the Paris Agreement. What is that? By 2050, the carbon emission from the earth should be zero. We should not use any resources which, by burning these resources, which emit carbon dioxide, methane, and NOx and SOx. Now, you think of the world where we do not burn coal. Do you have any of the other option? Currently, we do not have any option. And therefore, we must undertake a lot of research so that we can entirely change from the coal, oil, and gas to something else like solar energy, wind energy, biomass energy, and electrical energy like a battery. Is it possible to entirely shift from this coal, oil, and gas to the solar energy and wind energy? Fortunately, some countries in the world like Sweden and Netherlands, they have shown that they have achieved zero carbon emission right now, today. Today, the pollution that these countries are making is zero, entirely zero. There is no zero emission of carbon dioxide. So they are now struggling very hard to avoid the problem of climate change, and their country is zero carbon emission country. But there are several other countries who have not taken any steps. For us, like India, we have to take care and we have to replace entire energy system from coal, oil, gas to the solar energy, wind energy, and this and that. Secondly, we have to plant a lot of trees. Why trees we have to plant? Because, we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. But the trees inhale carbon dioxide. So they absorb carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen that is required for us. In the last COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen how important is oxygen for the breathing. So the oxygen is given by the plants and trees free of cost, but we never bother about these oxygens which is given by the trees free of cost. Therefore, we have to plant the trees. if we plant trees in a bigger amount, bigger magnitude, then these plants will absorb some carbon dioxide that are emitted by us. Okay, so we have to avoid the deforestation. We have to plant the trees. We have to see that we have to maintain the trees, and the trees should be grown. The full amount of full grown tree will absorb 25 tons, or sorry, 25 kilograms of carbon dioxide in a year. So who has taught the tree to absorb carbon dioxide? No one. It is again a naturally occurring phenomena. So naturally, the trees absorb carbon dioxide and they generate their own energy because of the carbon dioxide, due to carbon dioxide and light energy, which is called as a photosynthesis. You know, all these interesting things, interesting cycles are occurring in the nature. Everyone, every student should know what are different types of cycles. And these cycles, they occur in the nature automatically, naturally. There is no other source that we have to do. Okay, it is occurring naturally. It is very well balanced, and it goes on for several years, thousands and millions of years. It goes on. But if we keep on cutting the trees, the CO2s will not be absorbed by the forest or the trees, and therefore there is no option for the CO2 to go up and get accumulated in the atmosphere. That causes the global warming. So these are the gases that we have to avoid by planting the trees. Probably Professor Dr. More, principal of this college, may take the activity of plantation of the trees. If there are 2,000 students, you can plant 2,000 trees every year. And not only plantation is sufficient, you have to, the student or the college has to take care of the plant so that the plant grows. Okay, that is another important thing. Secondly, you might have seen that this automobile sector is revising very rapidly. We want to shift from petrol or diesel based cars to the electric vehicles. So electric vehicles are again very important. And if we avoid using these cars, there is no CO2, NOx and SOx emission. And the electric vehicles are pollution free. They are silent. They will not be harmful to the atmosphere. So from today onwards, we have to we have to take care of the atmosphere. We have to take care of the environment. So environment is very, very important. Today, something does not happen because, today, if I use the car to travel from Kolhapur to Mumbai, some amount of CO2 emitted, but we do not feel it very serious because the impact of this CO2 is not felt instantaneously. The impact of today's CO2 will be seen after 10 years. And that's why it is like a slow poisoning. So global atmosphere change is that occurs very, very slowly. So that's why we are not very much aware of this. We are not very serious about it. People are not serious about it because it is unnoticeable today, but tomorrow it may be drastically noticeable. So we have to take steps today to save our future tomorrow. And that is the message that I want to give you today. There are many protests in the world, like Morche Kadne vagare. So these protests, the people are protesting against global warming. Young people, like students, they come across the globe, have been protesting since 2019, and they are inspired by one school girl called as Greta Thunberg from Sweden. Greta is a very small child, and she started protesting against this global warming. And because of that, entire world, all the school children and college students, they are protesting against the global warming. In India, in Maharashtra, again, government of Maharashtra has taken very important step of starting Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan. There is a document, and probably NSS students, they might know about this Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan. In Shivaji University, we have started this implementing this Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan through NSS, and there are 27,000 students. They are working on these steps. So there is a protocol in the Majhi Vasundhara. We have to adopt, we have to implement these instructions given by this Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan, given by the government of Maharashtra. in Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Therefore, we have started one entirely new department, which is Climate Change and Sustainability Studies Center. So this is the center where it is a multidisciplinary. All the faculty members are involved into that. All the students can take a project in that particular project. Not only that, in Shivaji University, we have earmarked about 3 crores of rupees for the projects. If you have some innovative ideas, if you have some creative ideas for the research projects, you can submit your idea, you can submit the project to the university. University will fund you your project, maybe up to maximum of 3 lakhs, and you can start working on your own idea. And if it is really very nice, if it is successful, we can even provide more amount of money to that student. We can provide more amount of funding to that faculty member or a teacher who comes to us, who will come to us with this creative idea, with the novel ideas of avoiding climatic change and global warming. So thank you very much. I would like to give this particular message to you. I have given you some experiments to do. I have given you a task of plantation, and probably I have also given you the task of implementation of all the steps that are listed in Maji Vasundhara Abhiyan. So thank you very much. If there is some NSS coordinator in your college, he can also tell you. The principal may also look into all these things and may report to the university. Maybe you can directly report to Honorable Vice Chancellor or me. In that case, if you need any help from university, we are there to help you, because climate change is going to be very, very serious. We have to be very, very serious. And therefore, not only me and you, but our stakeholders must participate into the moment of stopping global warming, so that we can avoid the problem of climate change. Probably you can ask your student to have some nice painting on the climate change aspect, weather change aspect, or global warming aspect. Probably they can also have very nice models. They can have 3D printing models, something like that. We need some creative things from the students. We need some changes and that innovative things from the teachers. And if we like it, we can provide a lot of funding to you. So this is the thing that I want to tell you on this particular occasion. Once again, I would like to thank all the organizers for inviting me over here to deliver this keynote address. I also wish all the participants all the best, and I am hopeful that all the students will take this message very, very seriously and be careful in future in order to be harmful in the environment. So we have to protect the environment, and that is the first priority that we have to give. And thank you once again for your kind invitation. Thank you, and I wish you all the best, all the participants, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for such informative and auspicious speech on climate change. We give information about global warming, harmful effect of global warming, carbon dioxide emission, coal water gas, change into solar energy resources, avoid deforestation, tree plantation, Maji Vasundhara Abhiyan, take care of environment, and much more. Once again, thank you very much, sir, for such eminent speech. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. A.G. Barkade, sir, Professor and Head Department of Geography, Balwant College, Vita, to give introduction of President of this inauguration function, Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. More, sir, Balwant College, Vita.
Good afternoon to one and all. Dr. Rajendra More, Principal of Balwant College, Vita. His educational achievement is MA, MPhil and PhD. He has achieved BA from Sant Damaji College, Mangalwada, MA from Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and he also completed MPhil and PhD from same university. In 1993 to 1997, he worked as assistant professor in Dr. N.D. Patil Mahavidyalaya, Malkapur. In 1997 to 2010, he also worked in S.M. Joshi College, Hadapsar, Pune on the same post. At the same time, he also played the role of LIC Selection Committee Flying Squad Chairman He also worked on different committee of Pune universities. He visited College of Pune, Ahmednagar, Nashik, Dadar, Nagar, Haveli, and Silvassa for different works. At the same time, he worked as regional coordinator of NSS of Pune University. He was awarded as an excellent program authority by Pune University. Since 2010 to 2019, he had been working as a principal of Saulaj College. At the same time, he worked as an acting member of History Council. He is also member of Standing Committee of Shivaji University. With the permission Governor of State, he worked as a member of Academic Council. He is a member of BOS of Subcommittee of Shivaji University. He is a member of BOS of SNDT University. He has done guidance on national, international conference as an expert. He has published 23 research papers. He has written 2 books. He has published 4 books, and he is awarded for his social and education works from many institutions. He got National Equality Fellowship Award Silvassa Multipurpose Institute. He is awarded by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru Gold Medal from Global Economical Progressive and Research Institute. He is recently awarded by Lokmat Excellent Teacher on 28 August 2021. Currently, he has been working as a principal of Balwant College, Vita. One tree can start a forest, one word can frame a goal, one candle can wipe out darkness. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone. Our principles are the great innovation. You show students, parents, teachers.
I would like Now, I would like to request President of this conference and Principal of Balwant College, Vita, Dr. R.S. More sir, for presidential address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Chief guest of the function, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Professor Dr. T.S. Shirke sir, keynote speaker, Honorable Professor Vice Chancellor of Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Professor Dr. P.S. Patil sir, all the dignitaries, respected resource persons, delegates, and my dear friends. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome the participants from all over the world who joined me here to exchange experience and work together for the next 2 days on the occasion of third International Multidisciplinary Conference on Emerging Trends in Humanities, Commerce, Management, Science and Technology 2021. To begin with, I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Rayat Shikshan Samstha Satara, the parent institute of the college. Rayat Shikshan Samstha is one of the leading educational institutions in Asia. Its contribution in the field of education, especially for the underprivileged and downtrodden, is matchless. It is down to the spirit of education among the peasants when it is dark hour in the pre-independent India. In the year 1990, the founder of Rayat Shikshan Samstha, Dr. Karmil Kaurav Patil, had started the mission of mass education, ignored till date, and today, in post-centenary year, the institution stands head and shoulder above all other institutions in India, igniting dreams of thousands of poor and downtrodden people. Since the past 100 years, the institution has kept pace with the time and along with maintaining its primary goal of education masses, it has tried to bring about quality change. Demand of time today. Today, the Samstha is password for quality education, a benchmark, and is a pathway of many to follow. The Rayat Shikshan Samstha, along with the People's Cooperation, started Balwant College in 1963, owing to which the higher education has been made available for hundreds of students residing in the town Vita and the area nearby it, whose right of the college education was usurped by poverty and thus proved to be great boon for them. The college has been named after the respected father of greatest son of India, late Yashwantrao Chavan, then Deputy Prime Minister of India, and has been affiliated to Shivaji University.
Thank you, sir. Now we are moving towards the vote of thanks of this inauguration function. I would like to request Dr. V.S. Raut ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Balwant College, Vita, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Priyanka. A very good afternoon to our most valued chief guest, Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke sir, Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, keynote speaker of inaugural function, Honorable Professor Dr. P.S. Patil sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, President of today's function, Principal of our college, respected Dr. R.S. More sir, resource persons, chairpersons, Chairman, Southern Region, Rayat Shikshan Samstha, Honorable Moite Dada, Convener of Conference, Dr. B.B. Patil sir, Coordinator of Conference, Dr. A.S. Sartape sir, Professor, Organizing Secretary, Professor Dr. C.R. Bobde sir, worthy teachers, organizing committee members, distinguished delegates, and most beloved students, and last but not least, all virtually gathered over here participants. it is my privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Balwant College Vita, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the chief guest, Professor Dr. D.T. Shirke sir, Vice Chancellor Shivaji University Kolhapur, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace this international conference. Sir, definitely your words have stimulated us. Thank you, sir. On behalf of Balwant College Vita, I am thankful to keynote speaker, Honorable Professor Dr. P.S. Patil sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Shivaji University Kolhapur, for gracing us with your crucial work and sharing with us your opinion and findings for this present time. Sir, indeed your words have inspired us. Sir, you thoroughly discussed real life problem of the climate change. You discussed whole electromagnetic spectrum, its effect on human life, atmosphere, their benefits, their adverse effects, etc. How the industrial revolution changed the energy budget of Earth, and thus it resulted into the rise in temperature. So on this occasion of multidisciplinary conference, we will take a pledge to protect our Mother Earth, to reduce the global warming issue by our small efforts, just like planting tree, by saying no to automobiles and switching to electric cars. Thank you, Patil sir, for your guidance. Thank you very much. On behalf of Balwant College Vita, I like to thank all resource persons and chairpersons for sparing time for the conference. On behalf of organizing committee of this international conference, I mention my deepest sense of gratitude to the president of today's function, Honorable Principal Dr. R.S. More sir, for presiding this inaugural function. Sir, you have a constant support, constant source of inspiration and encouragement for us. We have been very fortunate to be assisted by you. Thank you very much. I also like to thank respected Mohite Dada for their encouragement. I would like to thank convener of conference, Dr. B.B. Patil sir, for their introductory speech. He nicely introduced our college and Sanstha. Thank you, sir. I thank coordinator of the conference, Dr. A.S. Sartape sir, for elaborating the theme of multidisciplinary international conference. I am thankful to Dr. S.V. Patil ma'am for introducing chief guest of today's function, Professor Shirke sir. I would like to thank organizing secretary of conference, Professor Dr. C.R. Bobde sir, for nice introduction of the keynote speaker, Professor Dr. P.S. Patil sir. I would like to thank Dr. A.G. Barkade sir for brief introduction of president of today's function, Principal Dr. R.S. More sir. Further, a very big thank you to masters of this function, our anchors, Ms. Priyanka Shinde and Komal Dhumar, for their efforts towards anchoring of inaugural session. I specially thank our technical arrangement team, Dr. Pritesh Gugre sir, Netaji Patil sir, Dinesh Dongde sir, who have been backbone of the virtual event. I would like to place on record my hearty thanks to all the participants, because of whom we made this conference possible. I also extend thanks to all the teachers for their cooperation in the institution for this conference. Thanks to all the people who were directly and indirectly made this inaugural function successful. Thank you very much. Over to Priyanka.
Thank you, madam, for such vote of thanks. Let us take a break of 1.5 hours for lunch, and we will start the session of invited talks and past 10 minutes of 1 o'clock.